Every music fan has a band they secretly love, and one they absolutely can't stand. But why do some bands attract massive hate, even when their music tops charts and fills stadiums? In this video, we explore the top 10 most hated bands of all time. These are the artists who sparked huge controversies, divided entire fan bases, and left a long trail of angry listeners behind them. They didn't just get criticized, they became targets. Some bands were hated because their sound changed too quickly. Some became too commercial. Some said something controversial in an interview. And others? They simply became too big, too famous, too fast, and the backlash exploded. But here's the interesting part. Behind every hated band is a story fans rarely hear. Sometimes the hate wasn't earned. Sometimes the band didn't deserve the attacks at all. And sometimes they secretly agreed with the critics. This countdown isn't just about negativity. It's about understanding why the world turned on these artists and how some of them fought their way back. Get ready, because some of the bands on this list will surprise you. Some are legendary groups you grew up listening to. Some are modern acts that became memes overnight. And some are names you never expected to appear in a most hated list. From rock to pop, metal to punk, here are the stories behind the bands the world loved to hate, and why their legacy is much bigger than their haters ever imagined. Number 2. Nickelback. For years, Nickelback has been the unofficial king of hated bands, but no one really knows how it started. The band sold millions of albums, filled stadiums, and dominated radio stations in the 2000s. But somewhere along the way, they became a global joke. Late-night hosts mocked them. Memes exploded across the internet. Even politicians joked about banning Nickelback songs. But why? For some people, Nickelback's sound felt too safe, too polished, too radio-friendly. Critics claimed their songs followed the same formula. Others said Chad Kroeger's voice had a commercial rock tone they didn't like. But the real reason goes deeper. Nickelback became the symbol of corporate rock, even though they never asked for it. The band once said they didn't understand why the world turned on them so suddenly. They were never trying to be edgy, they just wrote music people enjoyed. And the truth is, millions of fans still love them quietly. Their streaming numbers are huge, their concerts still sell out. But the Nickelback hate train became so popular that people would join in even if they couldn't name more than one song. Over time, the band learned to laugh at the jokes. Chad Kroeger once said he doesn't mind the hate anymore. It means people are still talking about them. But whether you love them or hate them, one thing is true. Nickelback became the most famous hated band in history, and they survived it. Number 3. Limp Bizkit. In the late 90s and early 2000s, Limp Bizkit was unstoppable. Fred Durst was on every magazine cover. MTV played their videos non-stop. Their concerts were wild, unpredictable, and unforgettable. They weren't just a band, they were a movement. But then the hate arrived like a storm. The turning point was Woodstock '99. Limp Bizkit's chaotic performance became the symbol of a festival gone wrong. Critics blamed them for the riots, the fires, and the violence. Even though many other issues caused the disaster, Limp Bizkit became the main target. Suddenly, the band that once ruled rock radio became a joke. Fred Durst's red cap became a meme. Music critics called them immature. Other rock fans accused them of ruining metal with their nu metal sound. The media loved portraying Fred as the villain of early 2000s music. But the truth is more complex. Limp Bizkit created a sound that millions of fans connected with. Anger, humor, rebellion, and chaos all mixed together. Their music wasn't meant to be deep. It was meant to be loud and fun. And that was the point. For years, people hated Limp Bizkit publicly, while secretly listening to break stuff in their headphones. Today, the band has made a surprising comeback. Younger fans discover them through TikTok. Older fans now admit they always loved them. The hate is still there, but so is the fan base, loud, loyal, and ready for the next chapter. Number 4. Creed. Creed's story is tragic in a way. They were one of the biggest rock bands of the 2000s, selling millions of albums and filling arenas. Scott Stapp's soaring vocals and emotional lyrics connected deeply with fans, but at the same time, their success created a massive backlash. One of the biggest criticisms was that Creed felt too serious. Their music had a religious tone that some listeners rejected. Others said Stapp acted like a rock messiah, even though the band insisted they weren't preaching anything. But the real problem came when fame got out of control. Rumors spread about the band's ego clashes. Stories of Stapp's behavior in interviews and concerts damaged their reputation. Music critics tore them apart, calling their lyrics overdramatic and their sound pretentious. Creed became one of the most uncool rock bands to like, even when millions of people still secretly listened to them. Their breakup only made things worse. The media portrayed the band as chaotic, dysfunctional, and out of touch. But years later, when Scott Stapp opened up about his personal struggles, fans finally understood what was really happening behind the scenes. Now, Creed's music is getting rediscovered. Younger listeners hear the passion that older critics mocked, and fans who grew up listening to them no longer hide it. Creed may have been one of the most hated bands of their time, but today they're finally getting the respect they deserved. Number 5. Imagine Dragons. Imagine Dragons became massively popular extremely fast. And that's usually when the backlash begins. Their songs were everywhere. Commercials, movie trailers, sports events, radio stations. They became the new face of mainstream rock. But with success came a wave of internet hate. Critics said their sound was too safe. Some rock fans accused them of pretending to be a rock band. Others said their music felt engineered for charts, not emotion. And because they were so successful, people started comparing them to every big band before them, and blaming them for not sounding the same. The band also faced online mockery, especially for Dan Reynolds' dramatic vocal style. Memes exploded, jokes spread. And just like Nickelback, Imagine Dragons became an easy target. But they didn't stay silent. Dan Reynolds spoke openly about the hate, admitting it affected him deeply. But he also defended the band, saying they never tried to be anything other than themselves. Their music helped millions of young listeners. Their concerts inspired people. Their lyrics touched fans dealing with mental health struggles. Slowly, many listeners started to realize the truth. Imagine Dragons became hated because they were successful, not because they were bad. Today the band continues selling out shows worldwide. Their fans are loyal. Their songs remain massive hits. And while the internet still loves making jokes, Imagine Dragons has proven one thing: the music will outlast the hate. Number 6. Kiss. Kiss is one of the biggest rock bands in history, and also one of the most hated by critics. From the moment they appeared with platform boots, face paint, and explosive stage shows, reviewers attacked them. They said Kiss was style over substance. They claimed the band focused more on merchandise than music. They mocked Gene Simmons for being a marketing machine, but fans didn't care. Kiss concerts were unlike anything rock had ever seen. Fire-breathing, blood-spitting, giant stage sets. It was pure spectacle. Kids loved them. Teenagers worshipped them. But music critics hated everything about them. One of the biggest reasons was Gene Simmons' personality. He wasn't shy about calling Kiss a brand. He loved money and proudly admitted it. Many fans loved the honesty. Critics hated it even more. But here's what people forget. Kiss wrote huge, timeless anthems. Detroit Rock City, Rock and Roll All Night, Love Gun. These songs defined an era. Their fan base became one of the most loyal in rock history. The hate never fully faded. Even today, People debate whether Kiss is a great band or just great entertainers. But one thing is certain, no band survives 50 years of touring without delivering something real. Kiss didn't just survive the hate, they built an empire with it. Number 7. Metallica. Metallica is one of the greatest metal bands ever, but they've also faced some of the biggest hate bursts in music history. What makes their story different is that the hate didn't come just once, it came in waves. The first wave came when they cut their hair in the 90s. Fans accused them of selling out. Then they released Load and Reload, albums with a more alternative sound. The metal community exploded with anger. Then came Saint Anger. Critics attacked the raw production, the loud snare, and the unfinished feel. Fans said Metallica had lost their touch. And the biggest controversy? The Napster war. Metallica openly fought against illegal downloading, and millions of young listeners turned against them instantly. They weren't wrong about the industry collapsing, but they became the villains of the internet age. But here's the twist. Metallica always came back stronger. They toured harder. Their albums kept selling, and new generations discovered them through everything from Guitar Hero to Stranger Things. Metallica became too big to fail. Did the hate ever stop? Not really, but neither did the music. Number 8. U2. U2 is one of the most successful rock bands ever, but they're also one of the most mocked. A big reason is Bono's personality. His activism, charity work, and political speeches made many people see him as preachy. Even when he was doing good things, critics attacked him for acting superior. But the turning point was the Apple incident. U2 released an album directly into everyone's iPhones without asking. Overnight, millions of people found songs on their phones they never downloaded. It felt invasive. People got angry, and U2 became the butt of every joke. Another reason is their massive, polished stage productions. Some listeners prefer raw rock, and U2's global-sized concerts felt too corporate to them. But behind all the criticism, U2 still delivers powerful music. Their live shows are emotional, inspiring, and unforgettable. Their fans remain loyal. Their songs still connect with millions. The hate is real, but the legacy is bigger. Number 9. BTS. BTS is the biggest band of their generation. Their fan base, ARMY, is one of the most powerful communities on the internet. But with extreme love always comes extreme hate. For some critics, BTS didn't fit the traditional Western idea of a boy band. Others attacked them simply for singing in Korean. Many people dismissed them without ever listening, and as their fame grew, so did the backlash. Twitter wars, media criticism, and countless stereotypes. But here's the truth. BTS changed global music forever. Their performances are groundbreaking. Their lyrics deal with mental health, self-love, and personal struggle. They broke cultural walls that no other band had crossed before. The hate didn't stop their success. It made it even bigger. Number 10. The Eagles. The Eagles created some of the most iconic rock songs in history. Hotel California, Take It Easy, Desperado. But critics hated them for one reason. They were too perfect. Their harmonies were flawless. Their songwriting was clean. Their production was polished. Some rock critics preferred rough, edgy music, and the Eagles didn't fit that world. Their internal drama also made fans pick sides. Don Henley and Glenn Frey were known for their strong personalities. The band fought constantly, and when they broke up, the hate grew even louder. But time healed everything. Today the Eagles are recognized as one of the greatest American rock bands ever. The hate didn't last. The music did. Every band on this list faced massive criticism. But here's what their stories teach us. The world doesn't hate bands because they're bad. They hate them because they're big. Because they're different, because they challenge expectations, or because people love to follow the crowd and mock the easy target. But in the end, every one of these bands built a legacy stronger than the hate they received. Because music isn't about critics, it's about connection.